Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of REVlogue. Today we have a really special guest from Hyundai. I'm meeting with my friend Harry. So Harry, welcome to REVlogue. Thank you so much for meeting me and answering some of the questions and also some of the subscribers' questions.
Sure.
So yeah, looking forward to hearing some of your stories.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So just to start as an intro, can you tell me about a little bit about yourself, who you are, how many years you've worked as a designer?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Harrison Yen. I was born and raised in San Diego, California. I've always been a huge fan of cars and who's not these days, right? There's a lot of cool cars out there. But I've been a car designer now for about 3.5 to 4 years. I originally started my education at UC Riverside. I was studying engineering and business. And then I wanted to get into design, so after that I had enrolled and gone to Pasadena Art Center College of Design, and that's where I really focused on car design. And then after that, got into automotive design.
Okay, so was there like a turn of events or something that made you want to be a car designer?
Yeah, so I loved drawing. I looked at my engineering notes and it was always just doodles of cars, and you'd have a math problem and then you'd have like a drawing of like an engine and like this crazy stuff. So I was having more fun doing that than solving physics problems, which were fun, but it was more colorful and more creative.
Okay.
And I wanted to get into that side of work. So that was kind of the turning moment.
I have a similar situation where I was in my history classes just sketching away cars.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's really fun.
I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
So I know you told me you went to the art center and stuff like this. How did you get your first chance to get to becoming a car designer?
Well, art center was a long journey. So I started at art center, and you really never know. My best advice to people is you really never know what the landscape's going to look like when you graduate, right? Well, who's going to be hiring and what's going to be available. So I just focused on my work and what I cared about, and then just kind of let the rest take care of itself. But art center really prepares you to with the skills and the knowledge to get into the automotive field if that's what you want to do.
I see.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to focus on what you wanted to show. Is there some particular things that maybe differentiated you from other candidates?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of tailored my projects throughout school. Well, you do what the course curriculum, which is what the school kind of requires you to do, and it's great because they have so many connections with the OEMs, so you get a lot of sponsored projects and you get a lot of opportunities to work on different cars. But for me, my portfolio was kind of geared around what I kind of experienced cars throughout my life, right? So like family cars. When I was little, I wanted to do a family car, and then who obviously loves sports cars, so did a sports car kind of thing, and just kind of looked at myself and kind of what vehicles have meant to me in my life.
Okay.
And then designed around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more of a human-centric design.
Yeah. I looked at myself. I was like, I was kind of tired of doing these like consumer boards of like, okay, this is a potential consumer. I looked at myself and like, well, what would I want? And I've gone through life up to this far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of looked at that.
I know, like, the designer's life with the fake personas that you chop the images from somewhere, and they're always the perfect people, perfect family.
Yes. Sometimes that's not the case, but I mean, for me, I just try to take a little bit more honest approach, and it was more fun that way.
Sweet. Yeah. No, I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
At some levels. So what I want to ask is, so you got the job.
Yeah.
Is it everything that you've dreamed of?
Yeah. To be honest, I think it's really fun. I think the people make it the best part. I mean, cars will always be around, but the group of people that's there at Hyundai, I just love them, and they're really nice. And I just think about, like, there's obviously every job is going to have its different ups and downs, right? So everything's never going to be rainbows and perfect, but you kind of find a way through it all to just stay creative and stay passionate. And if you stay on that side of the fence, I think no matter what you do, you'll be happy.
Yeah, because my biggest question to you is, of course, I've aspired to be a car designer as well.
Yeah.
And, what's it like like, I guess, turning your favorite hobby as work? Like, how do you find that work-life balance?
Yeah, that's tough. Work-life balance is always a challenge, right? But you kind of, through it all, like, you don't want to dedicate your entire life to like just work, because then you'll burn out.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'll be really frustrated, and you're kind of missing out on life, right? You don't want to do that. I kind of try to find it the other way. Let the life adventures inspire the work. So like going out and traveling with my friends or family, if you see something that you're out there, that's really interesting, take that experience and bring that into your work.
I see.
And then it becomes this more level, balanced, and then everything's always fun. Yeah.
Well, that's really good to know. I've seen a footage of Lexus showing off their designer's lifestyle. I think it was one thing exactly like this when one of the designers was traveling, and he was like out in the woods, picked up a piece of leaf, and then like vacuum formed it and then turned it into like. I don't know if that's a little bit exaggerated, but I know you guys always, designers, try and get inspiration from a lot of different places. So.
Yeah. I mean that's the best part. You never know when it's really going to come. I mean, I don't want to say that was staged or anything, right? It could have been like a real trip. They found the leaf and everything. But for me, I think personally, it's a lot of experiences. I'll see something, I'll be like, that's really awesome. And then I'm like, wait, how could that translate into a car? And more importantly, does that make sense? Right? Would that be better for people, or would that be worse? So it's good to always be constantly just keep your eyes and ears open to everything.
Yeah.
That's really important and super fun.
So speaking of making sense of things, I think we're seeing a lot of corporate identity designs, if you will. I know a lot of different brands try to keep at least some elements together so that it's kind of a family of design, especially the BMW with the kidney grille.
Right.
I know Hyundai is doing some of the grille shapes right now.
Right.
What do you think the bigger corporations, what do you think they're putting an emphasis on that? And is there like a market success behind that? How important is it to you as a designer?
That's really interesting. Well, I know, so you said BMW, right? We've seen the evolution of their kidney grills. That's very, very sacred to them. That's kind of their brand identity, Seeing that evolve now, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Now to the point where it's proportionally almost like, wow, that's crazy. But I think that's what they're going for. They're looking for something of impact. But every brand kind of has its character. But I'm not opposed to kind of at Hyundai. We're always searching for new stuff, and always looking for new. So it's not so much evolving something like 911 or a Porsche, where it's like always going to be there when you're ready for it. Yeah. It's like kind of just an evolution of something. I really like embracing just trying to find new stuff, because if you want a BMW, it'll always be there, right? You can always get that. But I think what Hyundai has to offer, which is exciting and new, is it's always pushing, right? Okay. Always pushing to try to make something new and fresh. And I think in the automotive landscape right now, we need that. Okay. Because it's at a pivoting point, right? It's at a pivoting point where electrification and autonomous and other sorts of vehicles are going to come into play. Yeah. And I think the next generation of car buyers, I mean, they're not like, we grew up with like engines and stuff. Maybe they don't want that anymore. I think it's good to kind of evolve the brand and be relevant, stay relevant. So I think, I hope, does that answer?
No, that's it. That's a perfect answer. Yeah. If I go a little bit deeper into that, do you think it's because maybe Hyundai hasn't found its definite character that like really defines it what a Hyundai is, or is it a bit of a both thing? Where, because I've heard the designer Lee Sang-yup, the guy in I guess pretty high up in the Hyundai design world, but he was saying the same thing, where Hyundai is just constantly striving to push for new things. Yes. But I don't know, maybe for brands like the Genesis, you may want to like actually start some heritage. Like, how do you find that sort of balance where, like you said, Hyundai has its unique points, right? So how do you keep that and still create new elements?
That's true. We're always, new is something that we're always pushing for. We always want to have that new kind of thing, because if it's not new, what's the point? You could buy an older one, right? Sure. But there's some characters that make it distinctly a Hyundai. I know before they were talking about like a cascading grille. Every car company has a different kind of grille shape that's unique to them. So there's some cues and hints that you could say like, oh, that's distinctly that's a Hyundai, or that's a Kia, or that's a BMW. But there's other things on it that you could say like, oh, that's really new. Like I haven't quite seen that before. And those are the things I think we're looking for to delineate and separate ourselves from other companies, but also make a new product. Right?
So it's not per se that there's like a marketing data somewhere that's suggesting if you keep a corporate look, you'll sell more cars.
Interesting.
So the European brands are more about keeping the heritage. It's because that's just what they've been doing. And Hyundai is more about bringing out the new factors and making each individual cars look the best it can.
I think so. I think in the future we might develop. There's a possibility to develop a very unique and like iconic. How do you say, like a face, like something like the kidney grills on the BMW, right? So like, oh, okay, that's a Hyundai. But I think there's enough stuff out there right now where you can see it and like, okay, I get it, that's a Hyundai, or I get it, that's a BMW, right? Those types of things, I think there's a chance for that in the future, but you gotta push for new. You gotta push for new and try to search for new things to do, because in my opinion, in my personality, I think cars, they look the way they do because of a lot of different reasons, and so the general consensus is they all kind of look the same, but you gotta find a way to somehow push it and evolve it, because if we don't, it's gonna be the same. We need to continue to push it.
And you know what? That's a perfect segue into the section of our subscriber questions.
Oh, sure.
And one of the first questions is why do all cars look very similar?